Hello everybody, welcome to my Jeep page. As I've stated before, I've always loved Jeeps. Since I was a kid, I would look into all of them and how much they could go anywhere and climb most anything if you're willing to hang on. This video is about my 1978 CJ5, or as I call him, Sarge. A little history about the CJ first. In 1944, Willis Overland, one of the two main manufacturers of the World War II military Jeep, built the first prototypes for a commercial version, the CJ, short for civilian Jeep. From then on, all Jeep CJs consistently had a separate body and frame, solid axles with leaf springs both front and rear, a tapered nose designed with flared fenders, and a faux flat windshield, and could be driven without doors. Also, with few exceptions, they had part-time four-wheel drive systems with a choice of high and low gearing, and open bodies with removable hard or soft tops. After remaining in production through a range of model years and several corporate parents, the Jeep CJ line was officially ended in 1986. More than 1.5 million CJ Jeeps were built, having continued the same basic body style for 45 years since the Jeep first appeared. Widely regarded as America's workhorse, the CJ has been described as probably the most successful utility vehicle ever made. American Motors VP Joseph Cappy said the end of the CJ production will signal an end of a very important era in Jeep history. The Jeep CJ5 was replaced in 1987 by the similarly looking Jeep Wrangler. Now onto my Jeep, Sarge. Sarge is a 1978 CJ5 Basic, narrow track with a rock-solid 258 inline 6-cylinder, or 4.2 liter, whichever one you want to call it, with a Carter one-barrel carburetor, rear AMC 20 two-piece axle with a ratio of 3.54, and a front Dana 30 axle with locking hubs. It has a Borg-Warner T150 3-speed transmission with a Dana 20 transfer case. It's a 4x4 part-time with rear full-time. Front engaged manually in off-road conditions. Your basic no-frills Jeep. They're fun kind. I purchased Sarge in May of 2021, as he really was an untouched Jeep for the most part. No lift kits, no engine replacements. Heck, I even found the original green paint in the glove box and in the fender wells. He just needed a friend with a checkbook. That's me. Hang on to your checkbook. Here are the modifications I've made to Sarge over 2021. There are several to get the old man up to speed to go places. The 3-speed was rock solid, and the transfer case shifted and worked well. The 258 engine was in good shape, but needed a battery, starter solenoid, and alternator. The great thing is the engine doesn't leak any oil, doesn't use oil of any kind. I was impressed. This next section, if I was going to fix everything mechanically, why not protect the body as well? First, I'm a computer guy, not an automotive mechanic, a body guy. Heck, I can barely use one of those diagnostic machines, and I'm a computer guy. I can explain the DHCP scope timing and why node type 8 will direct you to name resolution first, but that's a different video. I've never done body work nor painted a Jeep, or any vehicle for that matter. I'm not even really good at rattle can painting, so I thought it's time I learned. I started watching videos on painting and decided that U-pole, Raptorlining, was a way to go to protect the body, but also make Sarge look rugged. It's also forgiving when spraying. Next, videos on bodywork and using fiberglass Bondo, and a great standard for bodywork. Last but not least, a great mask, because I like to breathe, and there's a lot of stuff floating in the air while doing this work, so I always wear a mask. So here's the order of the things I did to get this ready to paint. I replaced the windshield, then taped it up and readied it for painting. When I first bought Sarge, he had a crack in the windshield and had that white stuff around the actual edge around the gasket, so he needed a new windshield. I purchased several badges, a pirate rated 4x4, redneck edition, and don't treadle me that I actually put on the body and on the dash itself. All of the original tail lights that Sarge had cracks in them, and they was actually in pretty bad shape. So I replaced the tail lights with Quake LED lights and all marker lights, and new assemblies with LEDs. I decided that several pieces need to be actual painted with gloss black. So I removed the roll bar, sanded, and actually rattle canned it with gloss black. I did the exact same thing for the windshield frame, the dash, the engine compartment, tub interior, and the external mirrors. As I was looking at the body, I was also looking at the frame. One of the things that concerned me is Sarge's frame is actually, 42 years old. So, of course, he's rusted. So one of the things I decided to do is try to preserve him as much as possible. I'm not going to do a frame restoration on him, but I did use Seal. Seal is a paint-on application that you paint onto metal that's been rusted, and it actually turns the rust into metal. So I actually did that on the frame, the axles, and watched it magically over 30 minutes to an hour turn it from rust to metal, and turned it black. I love science. It did a great job, but I still have some more to do this winter while Sarge is actually parked. Sarge also had several Baja lights. Some were on the hood and the bumper, and I removed those and fixed the holes. In preparation for painting, I also purchased the American Star for the hood and glove box, and then very carefully placed that on the hood with myself, my wife, and 3 of my daughters. It was a team effort. So once that was on the place that we wanted it, then I actually had to tape it back up in order to ready it to paint. That next part was actually to install the roll bar, then tape the entire tub area, tires, and frame to prevent overspray from the Raptorliner. The next is one part that I have dabbled in the past by playing with some Bondo, but then I had to actually complete the actual Bondo work on the Jeep itself. I did try my best to straighten out most imperfections, but it is a Jeep thing, I guess. So it's not perfect, but it's perfect as I wanted Sarge to be. So once I got all that ready and got it all sanded down, I was then ready to move on to the next piece. Then an exciting part. I had to go purchase the Raptorliner. So as I was looking at the paint itself, I decided, because I've always wanted to have a military Jeep of sorts. I mean, it's not going to be exactly a military Jeep. I don't expect it to be. But I kind of want it to look like that. And if I'm going to be doing the painting, I'm also want to go make sure it's olive green, which was the closest that Raptor had. Now, I could have went and bought some other tint from other manufacturers, but U-Pole, who makes Raptorliner, actually sells these packets that you can cut open and mix with the actual Raptor inside the 1-liter bottle that you buy. Now, inside that, it's white, which, of course, the tint changes to whatever color you're changing it to. But like I said, it was an exciting time for me. I also purchased the Raptor U-Pole spray gun, and then I had to wait for the perfect time. Then I came back from vacation a day or two early, and it was going to rain, which is the perfect time. I was excited. It was time to do this thing. So the next day I sanded Sarge lightly, so not going to the metal per U-Pole's instructions. Redid some of the Bondo work to make sure it was the best I could do. Then I alcohol wiped Sarge down to remove all dust and contaminants. Sprayed the adhesion promoter, which U-Pole sells, to the body to promote the Raptorliner sticking properly. Then I started painting. I just started spraying just like I learned on the videos, and I can't believe it. It looks great. I did 2 coats with a 3rd light coat. Wow. Just freaking awesome. I painted a vehicle, and it's really not that bad for a noob. I then removed all the tape, all the coverings, and everything else that was used to cover for the paint overspray, and then I installed new black wheel fender flares to replace the old ones. Next, to give it some more rugged look, I actually installed black diamond-plated rocker guards to protect from trail debris and other things that may fly up and hit the actual paint itself, and I think that looks cool too. Sarge then needed a hat, so I bought him the Best Top brown bikini top. At first I wanted the black one, but I really think the brown works best for the military style look of Sarge. Now this next section is rather painful. The AMC 20 rear axle is a 2-piece axle. As one of the pages while researching the axle stated, the 2-piece axle design that AMC used in most Model 20s is about as sturdy as using dental floss for a tow rope. This is due to the previously mentioned 2-piece axle design. This is where the axle shaft uses a seal retainer and a bolt to hold the axle together. The bolt loosens itself over time and can cause the wheel to fall off. I personally thought, hey, I probably should fix that. But how do I fix it? Replace the AMC 20 rear end? You can, but A, that's expensive, and B, it's 2021 and you can't just find crap. But C, it's actually a really strong axle past that one bolt issue. It can take larger tires and up to 600 horsepower. Of course, my 258 can't produce that, but wow, you could drop a crate engine into that if you wanted to. It's a keeper, so how do I fix it? Luckily, they make a one-piece axle kit, and that resolves the issue, but it took me time to acquire it. But finally in June, I had one. I then had it installed. Works like a champ now, and I'm ready to go wheeling in Sarge. So now onto the tub interior. Some may say, why carpet? Well, they came with carpet, and I liked the way it looks, so I purchased carpet to install. Another learning opportunity, as I had never done that either. Luckily, the CJ5 carpet comes in 5 pieces, and I had it ready to the tub to receive it, sanding again and correcting some imperfections and install the carpet. I think it did pretty well, but it's a Jeep, so it doesn't have to be exact. Next is the seats. I guess someone installed Ford seats into the tub, and I really didn't like them, so I purchased best top seats for the front, but I was able to save the original back seat and reuse. Next, I replaced the shifter and the transfer case knobs and the boots, and also painted the transfer case cover. I also had the age steering column changed to a GM column in order to have a tilt wheel. That really helps me get in and out too. We're getting near the end, so bear with me. The 78 CJ5 didn't have a rear tire carrier as it was installed on the passenger rear behind the actual wheel itself. I wanted a spare tire for Sarge, but should I purchase a bumper and a tire carrier? By the way, the bumper was something I needed resolving too, because it was actually damaged by its previous owner. So why not kill 2 birds, right? I priced a new bumper and a tire carrier. Good freaking night. $1,400 for both. That requires some new ideas. And my friend told me, why don't you just have someone build it? I said, man, that's a great idea. So now Sarge has a new rear bumper with a tow receiver and a tire carrier for $400. That was awesome. Last for this video is a jerry can. All Jeeps need one for trails, and or for the fact that the gauge don't work. So I began looking for a jerry can. I was actually talking to my friend that I bought Sarge from, and he actually told me, hey, I have an old jerry can. I said, well, hey, how much do you want for it? He said, hey, I'll just give it to you. I said, man, thank you. Big shout out to Kelly for that. I sanded it down and painted it red. I will say this project has been a really great thing for me this year. It helped me focus and really showed me that you don't need a new Jeep to go have fun. The cost I have in Sarge is a few pennies less than $5,500. I have a fully functional Jeep. Sarge is not a Rubicon, but he's closer to the original than a Rubicon, and I believe has more character. I hope you have found this video informative for you. If you have any questions, drop me a line and I'll answer if I can. Thanks, and don't forget to like and subscribe.